Hi, class. We are on week 7. You should be so proud of yourselves for making it through our week 7 course. I know it's been a very fast-paced course, and I am proud of you for making it this far. This week, you can see that we are focused on one and only one assignment, the critical evaluation essay. The materials are to use the rubric to assess your work, to improve academic word choice, transition words, and how to revise and edit. These 4 learning materials, academic word choice, using transition words, revising, and editing, we had them in week 4 as well. So they probably will look familiar, but for your convenience, we put them here. What we want you to get out of the entire class is that planning, drafting, and then revising any written work is the way to go. So knowing what your readers will expect and knowing the high quality that they expect goes a long way in you turning in and submitting work that is high quality and polished, clear, and complete. We ask that you look at the rubric for how your critical evaluation will be graded. And then we have links to each of the places in our course to help you get the highest grades you can get in each category. So we have categories on focus, development, coherence, clarity, and style, use of source material, and editing and formatting. A lot goes into writing a paper and then revising it and making it the best that it can be. And we know that you've learned a lot this semester. I hope you have anyway. And what I hope you have learned, you will take to you when you take English 102 and when you take any of the other classes that you have on your program sheet. This week, you will click on Critical Evaluation Essay Due, and then, again, it's a 4 to 6 page paper. You are evaluating, is America just going to abandon its towns falling into the ocean, by taking your analysis essay and changing it a bit to focus on evaluative elements. You need to explain whether the text was effective or not. You will show what you've learned about critical thinking, credibility, language use, evidence, argument development, and so on. You will also be incorporating your reading number 3, the reading you found on your own through the SIRS database that gives a different perspective on the topic of climate crises. You will use this page more than once. I expect that you will be clicking on this page to see how we are using the analysis essay, because you've already done a lot of work. You've already determined the author's claim and identified use of language. You've identified evidence. You've learned a little bit about the author and source credibility. You've already done a lot of the work. But when you were analyzing, you were simply identifying and maybe interpreting or explaining a bit. You were not evaluating, though. When you evaluate, that's when you need to assess and judge whether the author did a good job or not. When you go through this sample paper, you will see places where we marked where you can actually copy and paste your language analysis about word choice and tone. You can copy and paste it. Of course, you want to make it a little bit better because you probably needed to revise it slightly to make it even better or more grammatically effective. And then there will be places where, let me exit that one so I can show you where there are places you need to include new information. So when you are, I don't want to click and get into ThingLink. Hang on. I'm going to just open up a new page because it wants me to learn more about ThingLink. So when you are, let me just go back to that page. When you are trying to figure out what can be copied and pasted from your analysis essay and what needs to be written in a fresh way, you actually have already written a lot in a fresh way if you filled out your planner. But use this ThingLink because it is marked when you need to include new information. There's a reminder here, as needed, revise your language analysis section. And then this little icon where it has the little plus sign and an icon of a piece of paper, it says this is where your new evaluation paragraph goes. Provide your evaluation of language use in a new paragraph. You wrote this on the planner that you filled out during week 6. Then you have information about the rhetorical appeals, and then you will be done with the language section. After that, you can get into credibility. You can copy and paste from your credibility analysis essay. And then, after you do some copying and pasting, you will want to have a new paragraph. The new paragraph should provide an evaluation of author and source credibility. You should criticize or praise as needed. You should also mention rhetorical appeals, logos, pathos, and ethos. Same goes for evidence evaluation. You will be copying and pasting your original information. You should have had 3 paragraphs to analyze 3 pieces of evidence. And then you will have a brand new paragraph that provides an evaluation of evidence, and this is often a good place to integrate the new material from the article you found on your own, reading number 3. Finally, you will have a conclusion. You can synthesize ideas from the other 2 essays you wrote, but you will want to make sure your conclusion mentions your evaluation. This is where you are judging the success of Stephen Lazak's article. On the references page, you must have a hanging indent. Watch the video on the APA resource page as needed. You must have all articles and websites that you use to learn about the author or what you use to learn about the New York Times. And you certainly need to have both the Stephen Lazak article on here and the article that you found on your own using SIRS. When you are done building your paper, you should evaluate it yourself, speaking of evaluation. So if you are in the assignment, you will see that we have a checklist for you. And this checklist is really an excellent reminder for you to make sure that you evaluate your own work before you turn it in. So you can go to File, make a copy, and then you can click on these status buttons so that you know what it is that you need to spend a little bit more time on and what it is that you have completed. I hope that you learned a lot about reading, writing, thinking, and researching, and that you can take this information to English 102 and all of your other Delaware Tech courses. Best of luck to you.